Hello and welcome to Huddersfield Extra Time in association with Sportsbroker. I am joined by Michael Hefele and David Hartrick after a disappointing 2-0 home loss to Nottingham Forest. Dave, if we start with you, new manager bounce is a bit of a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Even though Stephen Reid's only in interim charge, Forest haven't played that well all season. Is this a case of Huddersfield catching Nottingham at the wrong time?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect explanation, to be honest. I think Town have done well this season against a couple of teams they've caught at the right time. But I thought Forest were incredibly well organised today. I thought they were incredibly up for it, particularly at the start. And yeah, it was just a bad day at the office. But it's a crazy league. I'm sort of struggling to get too worried or worked up about it because I think Town will do exactly what Forest did today to lots of other sides in this league this season.
How did you see it, Michael? Obviously, you were here at the ground with us today and saw it in person. How was that match to watch for you?
Well, I think the first half was not too bad. We played quite well. We created as well some chances. Tofolo and Koroma as well. O'Brien did some damage down there. Obviously, we couldn't get a goal from these situations. And then all of a sudden, with an attack from Nottingham, cross, Lewis Greben is there. He's we all know him. He's a dangerous striker, and he's just there and scores out of nothing. And this is what happened. And then we tried to get something out of it in the first half, and then the second half was quite flat. They sat deep, and then it's hard to break them down. But listen, it's one of them days. Sometimes you win, and sometimes you learn. This was maybe good for Town, for the whole supporters, that we stay humble, that we see you have to work very hard day in, day out, and you can't cruise through the league and win every game. This is just like absolutely nonsense. So we get ourselves together, regroup, and then we go again.
I think that's really nicely said, Michael. Dave, both halves seem to follow a very similar pattern as Michael touched on. Forest scored fairly early, would sit back, allow Town onto them. But Town, for some reason, just weren't able to find a way through or break them down. There was a lot of determination and a really resolute performance from Nottingham. Just how disappointed should Town be with themselves today? Because in terms of effort and trying, you can't really fault them. But obviously there was something missing from the performance that was there against Reading and Blackpool.
There was, and I think there's no denying they fell into one or two bad habits again. But Forest got a great first goal. That first goal was a really, really good first goal. They spotted where the space was. Brilliant run from Johnson. Fantastic cross. And like
he's one of the fastest players I've seen live. Sorry to interrupt. He's ridiculously quick.
Nobody else has left Levi Colwell like that this season. And like Michael said, if you put a cross like that across to Lewis Greben, he will score. That's what he does. I think the problem was that Town, it was the goal second half where immediately allowed Forest to basically switch into effectively a 5-4-1. Becomes very, very difficult to find any space to break anything down. As I said, they slipped into one or two bad habits. Jonathan Hogg playing with his back to goal quite a lot. But it happens. They didn't get the rub of the green today. And that second goal was basically a perfect illustration of it, where, you know, off the defender, off the goalkeeper. At Opta, we have to class it as an own goal from the goalkeeper, which I think is incredibly harsh, if I'm honest. But they just didn't get the rub of the green. And I think you sort of have to just go into the dressing room and say, it wasn't our day today, but you have to make sure that the next time out, it is your day.
Yeah, Michael, you said earlier there's occasions in which you win and occasions in which you learn. What exactly will Huddersfield learn about themselves after today?
Keep the focus on every single game. Don't let your performance be affected from your last game, where we go to Blackpool and win obviously 3-0 and everybody is very happy. You have to get then rid of this situation. It was in the past. We focus on the next game today, Nottingham Forest. We have to work very hard all together. We have to fight for each challenge, for each ball. Being ruthless, play quick. But these are all things what for sure will the boss mention, and he will get the lads back together. That we will see a great, fantastic performance again in the next home game, and this will happen 100%.
We've got a week, Michael, until we go to Swansea City away. What is training going to be like for the next week? Are the boys going to be a bit more determined, a bit angry with themselves, putting in an extra couple of yards in training that they might have not done after a big win, just because they'll want to show the better side of themselves in the next game rather than letting this sort of defeat define them?
Well, it's good that we have a full week, because bear in mind we played like now during the week as well, and then it's a lot to take for the lads when you play so many minutes. So you have to get a good balance between working very hard and focused to adjust the little problems, and get a recovery in that you got fresh legs and a fresh mentality. So it's good that we have a absolutely full week, and for sure the lads are not happy, and they will see, we be on each other this week because we want to stay there, we want to have a sniff around, and they can believe, they can absolute belief. And I think as well what was a little bit was not for me, that the expectation maybe from as well outside was so high, and like bear in mind, don't forget this, where we come from, where we are now, we still have to work together as a whole football club. And the John Smith Stadium, the supporters are so crucial, important for us to put like some pressure as well on the opponent, and to help our players to lift the spirits. So we all have to find together again, and then we will be winning ways.
Yeah, can you just talk me through something, Michael, from a player's perspective? We have this saying in England, the new manager bounce, which is obviously, you'll heard it before, when somebody else comes in or somebody's sacked, the team suddenly starts playing better than they did beforehand. What exactly from a player's perspective, changes? Is there anything in training that changes, or is it just that freshness that gives everybody that want to try a little bit harder than they might have done previously?
Well, it's a strange thing. It's maybe some of the players, they get now a chance before the door was closed, because like the opinion from some managers are like their opinion. And when they're in, you won't play definitely. And now with the change, with the interims coach, you can show yourself. Maybe you have a chance to come in the team again. And then some of the players, they maybe try to use this definitely. So this could be the only thing.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. Dave, if we look at the game a little bit more tactically, Town made a change at half-time, made a decision to stop playing with three at the back and wing backs, and go to a more traditional back four with Matty Pearson coming off and Ollie Turton coming on. Was that a change you think worked? What was the thinking behind that for Carlos, do you think?
I think one of the big problems first half was that space down the left-hand side specifically, because it's difficult when you play with a 3-4-3, because naturally you do leave space at either side. And Forest had two good wingers who were very bold, very brave, and very comfortable stepping into that space. So sometimes you just have to adjust, and you have to say, okay, we're going to cover that off. It's a shame they scored that goal so early on, because we'll never know if that was the platform that Town could have built their way back into the game from. But I was very pleased on Tuesday night to see Carlos Corberán react to a few things in the first half that clearly weren't working, put them right, and it paid off big time. Today, as I said, they didn't get the rub of the green. You have to earn that in some games. And as I said before, I think they played Forest at the wrong time, really. But I just can't really get myself too worked up about it, because I think this will happen this season more than once. Town will lose games this season. It's the nature of the league. And Carlos Corberán is a project manager, and this is a project team at the moment. And it's just a reminder that we're still at sort of the mid part of the project. We're not near the end where we're looking at the finished article yet. But there's more to come from this team, and there's more to come from this squad. So you just have to sort of write today off and just look forward to the next game.
Yeah, so this should be a momentary disappointment rather than a defining one.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the better days will come. What they need to do is last season they lost 21 games of football, and 9 of those games they followed up immediately with another defeat. So what's important is they do what they did after the Stoke defeat, which is they put it right in the next game. They go to Swansea and they try and get something. And even if they don't get something, put a performance on. Come off thinking we couldn't have done anything more. That's what's important. And they have, like Michael said, it's important, I think, that they've got a whole week this week, because it is tough when the games are coming so thick and so fast. And one of the problems they had last season is there was always another game. When things were going wrong, there was always another game. It was just relentless. And that chance just to breathe a little bit, get refocusing training, I think will do them the power of good.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Michael, you're obviously based at Canalside with myself and the first team squad. You know the guys, you've been in and around the first team, you're in and around all the players there. What's your opinion of how the group will react to this? You've been in dressing rooms before. What will be the atmosphere in the dressing room immediately after this game and going into Swansea?
My impression, to be totally honest with you, they're a good bunch of lads, and they will bounce back. They will come stronger back from this defeat, and will work harder, because they are great characters in there. And you can't win every game, especially in the championship. This is so crazy. So they will come back stronger, and I'm 100% believing in every single player. So I'm very confident.
Watching your language on this one, Michael, if you were in the dressing room, what would you be saying to the lads? What would be, if they were your teammates, what would be your message to them after a game like this?
Well, obviously, we did the safeguarding. I know which stuff you can say and which stuff you can't say. It's a totally different environment. You can't obviously say this stuff in like office like we are, Raj, now. So probably you need a little bit some direct language, and as well put an arm around somebody. So it's a good mix. You have to have a good feeling for the individuals, because it makes no sense to go in and hammer everybody. So it's a different approach to everybody, and I think you shouldn't overreact to this defeat. Little tweaks, get your head right, get it clean. And we go again.
Yep. I think that's a good note to end it on, Michael. We go again. We don't want to dwell on this defeat, and we don't want to dwell on this episode either. So thank you very much for joining us on the Extra Time show in association with Sportsbroker. Dave and Michael, I'll speak to you both again soon.